welcome back guys. Today we are going to do the objective of today's lesson is multiplying special cases. Again, we're going to solve some questions, then you're going to do it on graph point for you. So let's begin. So the first one. Now this is an easy subject. I know it says multiplying special cases, but it's an easy one and you're going to see it. Okay? So let's go for the first example. So the first one, you need to find the product of j plus 7 times j minus 7. Now if you remember, we have two binomials. We need to have 4 multiplications. But in this case, because it's a special case, it means that we can solve it easier. We don't have to do 4 multiplications. In this case, we only need to do 2 multiplications. Now, why only 2 multiplications? Because the first term, as you can see, j, is the same thing as the first term here. And the second term is also the same. The only difference is that the first one is added, the second one is subtracted. In this case, when you have something like that, you can multiply the first one times the first one, and then multiply the second one times the second one, and you will get your answer. So j times j is going to be j squared. And 7 times negative 7, it's going to be negative 49. And this is the answer. That's all you need to do. Now, it's called a polynomial identity, or trinomial, in this case, binomial identity. Why? Because we have, for example, there's like a formula, an identity, which is if we have a plus b times a minus b equals a squared minus b squared. As you can see, if we have the same binomial, it equals to the same binomial, both of them are equal, so you can multiply the first one times the first one and the second one times the second one, and that will be the answer. So it's called the difference between squared. So let's go and do the second question. So the answer, as we said, j squared minus 49. Now, find the square, this one. Now we have something like that. Now we have, just a sec, I'll fix it. So we have 8m plus 7 squared. Now what does it mean squared? Again, as we know, that it means that I need to take the same number and multiply by itself twice, which means 8m plus 7 times 8m plus 7. And it's the same as if I put it under square. Now, in this case, we know how to solve it. We need to multiply the first one times the first one times the second one times the first, and the second times the second. We are going to have 4 multiplications. But in this case, it will be easier if we don't have 4 multiplications, and we can get the same answer. So how do we do that? We take from the first one 8m plus 7 squared. What do? First, you square the first one. So 8m squared, it's going to be 8 squared is 64m squared. Okay, let's make it black. So it's going to be 64m squared. Then you square the second one, the 7. So it's going to be 7 squared, so it's going to be 49. But that's not it. Another one is that we need to multiply the 2. You multiply it times the 7 times the 8m. Which means it's going to be 2 times 7, it's going to be 14. Times 8, it's going to be 81 and 12m. 1 and 12m. Of course, plus 112m. Of course, let's put it in the standard form. So it's going to be 64m squared plus 112m plus 49. So the answer is the first, or the last one, 64m squared plus 112m plus 40. The same thing, we have a polynomial identity, which in this case, when we have something a plus b squared, it's the same. We square the first one, we square the second one, and we multiply 2 times a times b. 2 times a, the way we just did it here. So this will be, you can say the formula if it works, or you can say that it's just an identity. Let's go to the next one. Find 93 times 80. So you don't need this. Just use the calculator. In this case, let's solve this one. So both figures are squares. We have two squares, as you can see. Find the area of the unshaded region. Write your answer in standard form. So we need to find the area of the unshaded. So this area, we need to find the area of this one, the red ones. Here, the unshaded. So it's easy, guys. What we're gonna do is we are going to find the big area, the whole thing from this square. Then we'll find the small area. Then we subtract the big area minus the small area. Let's find the big area first, the whole thing. So the whole thing, if this side is x plus 5, this side will be also x plus 5, right? Because it's a square. Now to find the area, we'll multiply x plus 5 times x plus 5. So how much is x plus 5 times x plus 5? So let's say here, let's say this is the big area. So it's going to be x plus 5 times x plus 5. So as we said, it's going to be x plus 5 squared. Now the x plus 5 squared is the big area. Now let's simplify it. As we learned, we square the first one, so it's going to be x squared. We multiply 2 times x times 5, so it's going to be 10x. Then we square the 5, so it's going to be 25. So that's for the big area. Now let's go for the small area, just the small area. So the small area. Again, this side is x, this side is also x. So we need to find the area. We multiply x times x, the width times the length, and the answer would be x squared. Now we found the big area, and we found the small area. All I need to do is to subtract the small from the big one, and I'll find the red area. So let's subtract it. So the first one is x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus x squared, the small area. X squared cancels out with the x squared, so we're left with 10x plus 25. And that's the answer. That is the area of the red or the white, whatever you want. Let's go to the next one. Find the square. This one also, the same thing, guys, the way we just learned. All you need to do is just use the identity. So we have 4x minus 6y cubed, and we have squared. Got it? Are you with me? I hope so. So first we square the first one, 4x squared, so it's going to be 16x squared. We can square the second one. This is 6y, sorry. This is 6y. Or we can just multiply first, then we square the second one. So let's multiply. 2 times 4 is 8, times 6 is 48. So it's going to be minus 48xy cubed. Okay, and then we square the second one. We have 6 squared, so it's going to be 36. And when we square an exponent, we multiply the exponent. So y cubed squared, we multiply 2 times 3, so it's going to be y to the power of 6. So the answer would be 48xy cubed plus, so this would be the answer. Okay, guys? Let's do another example. Doesn't matter now. Find the product. It's also the way we just did. It's multiplying binomials. Remember, one negative and one positive. You multiply the first times the first and the second times the second. I hope you can see how we solved one like it. This one, the same thing. Let's do this one again. Let's do one more like this one. We have 2m minus 8 squared. How do we do that? First, we square the first one, so 2m squared is going to be 4m squared. Then we multiply the 2 times the 2m times the negative, so 2 times 2m is 4m times negative 8 is negative 32m. and 8 squared is going to be 64. And that is the answer. Got it? And this one we just did like it. And this one we said you can use the calculator. And this one also the calculator. So that's it, guys, for today. This is the objective we did today is multiplying special cases. Remember, this is for Algebra 1, Semester 2. Bye, guys.